Home territorial on Bel Air Road over here, and it was a great experience for me. And I sure got to know a lot about Baltimore, and doing shots with the guys down at Sparrows Point at 7 o'clock in the morning, stuff like that. That's exciting. My day was over at 11. Those guys are just getting off.
The Orioles wanted you to take a job in a bank, right?
The Orioles wanted me to take a job making $125 a week in the First National Bank. They said they think it'd be a good experience for me to count my money. And so anyway, I got this offer. Eddie Robinson used to play first base for the Orioles, and he was the coach. And he had worked for Churchill, and he took me out there. And I talked to Mike Strauss, and they said, "Well, tell you what we'll do. So we'll give you $290 a week. We'll give you an unlimited expense account. We will give you a car." And I said, "Mr. Strauss, you got your boy." I was 21 years old. And the Orioles found out about it. Lee McPhail called me up and he says, "You can't do that." And I said, "What do you mean I can't?" He says, "Well, we don't think it's good for your image, and it's not good for your reputation to do that." And I said, "Well, okay." I said, "Here's what they've offered me." I said, "If you match that," I said, I won't do it." And Lee McPhail said, "Well, we can't do that." I says, "See you next year." See you in spring training. And I came into spring training in the best shape I've ever been in. I really did. I made it a real point to.
And years later,
and it wasn't all just getting drunk every day and all of that. I mean, the whiskey business is a serious business, and we made calls. I made calls from Ocean City to Cumberland, and I learned the state of Maryland as good as anybody. And I mean, we did. It was great fun, really was.
And years later, when you did the Miller Lite work, when you went all around the country, it was in some ways doing the same thing.
That's right.
Yeah, but you've been schooled.
Yeah, but it was like, this ain't nothing. I've done this before. Traveling around with Butkus and Bubba and Billy Martin and Vidal and Mickey Spillane.
And Billy Martin was mad at you because you hit a home run against the Twins in one of the playoffs.
I hit a 3-2, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, home run against the Twins in '69 to win a playoff game, or to tie the game up. Yeah. And we went on to win it in extra innings. And Billy Martin came up to me. We were doing a light beer commercial, and he says, "I hate you." I said, "Well, Billy, you shouldn't hate me. I don't hate you." He says, "I hate you." He said, "You ruined my life." He said, "I call that pitch from the bench." Because they've been Jim Perry. Jim Perry had been pitching me away all day long. So, and I was fouling off a lot of pitches. So he said, "Run one in." He didn't get it in for him. So, anyway.
And the other great story is about, the commercial you're probably best known for is that Jim Honachek, the umpire, who talks and then suddenly puts on glasses and say, "Hey, you're Boog Powell."
No, he's trying to read the beer can. It says right here, and he's going like that. And "Here, Jim, take these." I need my glasses. "Oh yeah, it says right here it's got a third less calories than a regular beer and it tastes great." And then he looks at me and "Hey, you're Boog Powell." It was a funny bit.
And people come up to you in airports and say, "Hey, you're Boog Powell."
Yeah, we did a lot of colleges, and the college kids picked it up.
Yeah.
Spring break in Daytona, me and Tommy Heinsohn and Bubba Smith.
But Jim was having trouble doing that commercial, right?
Jim was having, he'd never, he was an umpire, not that there's anything wrong with being an umpire. He'd never really, he was from Allentown, Pennsylvania, and he's just the sweetest man you ever met in your life. And he was kind of uncomfortable sitting behind in looking at a camera. And it's not easy. It's pretty hard to do, you know, and you got lights, camera, action, clack, you know, now do your thing, you know, and you're going, what the hell was that? And he had a hard time in the morning, so we went to lunch, and I said, Jim, let's have a martini. What do you think? Jim says, I don't drink. I said, let's have one anyway. We had a martini, we knocked the thing out in about 15 minutes. After lunch, he was Robert Redford. He was great.
And the other interesting thing I learned about Boog when I went down to his house in Florida and also talked to his brothers, surprise, surprise, his brothers are also excellent athletes, was that he was really quite a wild kid. They would ride their bikes. They grew up in Lakeland, Florida, and they would ride their bike down a hill and go into the lake. Right?
Well, there was this hill like this, and there was this lake down here. There was a road that went all the way around it, and we didn't have anybody spotting to see if there was cars coming or not. So we get on my bike, and I get my brother Charlie on the handlebars, and we start heading down this hill at a grade about like that. We're going, I don't know, maybe 40 miles an hour on this old Schwinn. The older guys might remember the old Schwinn that had the horn on the side, everything. It had the light on the front. Of course, my light was long gone. But anyway, we'd be going down the hill like that. And if we'd see a car, I'd have to put him in the bushes. And then I'd just drive it right into a hedge. And then, but if we made it and there was no cars coming, we would cross, and there was a ramp on the other side, and we get up in the air about, maybe 20 feet into the lake. Beautiful. Beautiful. Then we go fish the bike out, go back up laughing and giggling, and just go back up and let's do it again. It's a good time.
And you also...
And Cal Ripken and Earl, there was 2 entrances to this hotel we were staying at. There were 2 entrances, and Earl and Cal Ripken are coming in one side, and we're coming in the other way. And it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm carrying Dow Kasper. I've got him on my shoulder. And I see them, and I duck down like that so they couldn't see me. And when I did that, I threw him in a rose bush. And he came out there, he was bleeding like a stuck pig. I mean, it was, and that hadn't come to. Now I got to pick him up. Now I got blood all over me. Weaver and Ripken go into the room, and I go on. And I take him down to Ray Youngdahl, was one of the outfielders with that team back then. I took him in there, and he was Ray's roommate. Ray, you got him, brother. And he was pitching the next day. He pitched 8 innings, a 1-hit ball. The game started at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And Ralph Salvon, our trainer, saw him and said, "What in the hell happened to you?" He didn't know. He didn't know what happened. How'd you get home? He didn't know.
Okay, that's a great story. I think we'll end on that one.
I don't think that one got in the book.
No, that one.
See, we got to do another book.
Or the movie.
Or the movie, yeah.
All right, so thank you guys very much. And also thanks to Blue Pit Barbecue and